psychiatrist based here in the city. Doctor, it is so great to have you with us on this Saturday morning. So let's get right into some of those pointers. You say it's important to not engage with some of those traditions that have really left you feeling anxious in the past. Tell me what you mean about that.
Of course, we don't have to engage in traditions that made us feel anxious or depleted in the past. Use this time to make your own traditions. If you enjoy watching Hallmark movies and eating Chinese food on Christmas, by all means, make that your tradition. Do what's right for you. Just because somebody else is engaged in a certain tradition, you don't have to necessarily do that. So identify your triggers, find out what stresses you out on the holidays, and plan ahead for it.
One of those other triggers is just the spending that comes along with this time of day, particularly if you were on a tighter budget. So what is your recommendation for people really feeling the pinch and feeling stressful with all the gift buying?
Of course, this year is particularly stressful because of all the inflation. You got to remember that the point of the holidays is not buying expensive gifts. It's coming together, making memories, being together, being happy. Prioritize that. If you are feeling a financial strain this year, by all means, tell your family members. I'm sure they will understand. Just remember, the point is to make happy memories and prioritize that.
And I think, speaking of happy memories, among your list of tips, and we have them for our viewers to show you, is just also acknowledging that you might not be happy all the time. You don't always have to put on that happy face.
Exactly. Around the holidays, there's a lot of pressure to have fun, to be happy. And when our expectations don't meet with reality, well, it's pretty frustrating. So acknowledge the fact that you don't have to be happy this time of year. You don't have to force yourself to be happy. Trust me, once you acknowledge those feelings, it's like a load off your shoulders. So I would say start with that.
What about people who struggle to get along with family members in general? Again, another reason why people feel stressed this time of year. How do they go ahead and set aside these differences and try to make something enjoyable out of something that perhaps is stressing them out?
Okay, remember that we don't come together too often during the year. This is a rare opportunity for you to get together with your friends and family members. So try to keep those conversations light. Try to acknowledge that you're here to see each other and have fun. Any controversial topic, anything that could be potentially upsetting to anybody, just try to avoid. Just understand that you're here to see each other and these opportunities are rare, and just keep the conversation light. I would just say try to keep the conversation as light as possible.
Yeah, maybe have those ideas of what you could talk about in your head. What about the person who just overloads themselves with parties, with events? They say yes to everything. That could also be something that stresses people out this time of year when the calendar is just too busy.
Yeah. Okay. Above everything else, you need to prioritize yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and we all know this. So learn to say no. Exercise, eat healthy, get enough sleep. If you're not meeting your own needs, you cannot please anybody else. You cannot throw a fun party. You cannot be jolly during the holiday season. So please just prioritize yourself first and learn to say no. I know it's hard, but we got to start.
At least here in New York, the holidays also comes with a big change of seasons. It is cold out. I also want to just talk about seasonal depression as well, because sometimes these two things go hand in hand. This time of year can be a little bit difficult for people. A Mental Health America, for example, says about 5% of Americans deal with some sort of seasonal depression. Again, we feel that here in New York City. So tell me what your tips are for people dealing with that, compounded with this.
Sure, of course. Seasonal depression starts around November. It lasts all the way up until April, and it's very real. I lived in New York for 10 years. Trust me, I would deal with this every single season. You need to acknowledge the fact that you're going to be dealing with this. I mean, I'm sure you know yourselves at this point. Plan ahead for it. Seek help. Seek therapy. If you need medications temporarily to get you through this season, it's okay. Seek professional help and know when you need professional help. There's suicide hotlines. There's free therapy centers you can reach out to if you need to. Also, a good thing to do, I always recommend to my patients to buy a light box during this time of year. It's a basically bright light you sit in front of for about 30 minutes a day. It makes a world of difference. So if you struggle with seasonal depression, yes, every year buy a light box and seek out professional help if you need to. And remember, just exercise, eat right, and sleep.
Yeah, it all goes hand in hand. And I think a great note to end it on is that the stigma we have to get rid of. If you do need help, no matter what, please seek it. Dr. Yalda Safai, it is great to see you. Thank you for these tips.